Let me go out.
Healing and literally thriving.
I'm not saying that.
Ashley is so, but that's what Nneka puts everyone into perspective because Nneka is more embarrassing than Ashley.
Go. Start us nice. Off. When you think of it that way, it's nice to have a floor,
Yes. We ain't nothing going below her. Okay. All right. Welcome back. Another episode of Real Housewives of Potomac Season 8. Okay. We had suns out, buns out in the Dominican Republic. Okay.
That leads me to my toast. Right?
All right, let me grab my drink.
Is a correction of a small error Katherine made. Cheers for going from the outskirts of Potomac to a villa in East Haiti.
Woo!
I love the outskirts. You are now watching Mind You Media.
Mind You! We can't use that. We don't have the rights. You are now streaming Mind You Media. Just, yep. That was good. That was a nice touch.
That was hilarious. There you go again.
now you live in Bethesda. You need to shut up.
But truly. I can't believe. But I own my home. Gizelle, you bought your home for the first time 2 years ago. Be quiet. And that's not a flag. Like I said, and I'll say it again, okay, everyone? If she had a financial advisor and a portfolio, they would tell her renting sometimes serves your financial interest. Enough with this. Like, you're not a 19-year-old newly married. Like, I need my first home. Get over it. And meanwhile, you probably sunk all your cash flow into that hot mess of a construction project, which is why you have to start G&A with Ashley. Well, no, G&A is not intended to make money. They're not crazy. They're not crazy.
All right. So stop getting into the show details because we haven't even done the recap.
And it's your turn, ma'am. The tables turn.
You know, the tables turn, but I am open and
are you confident?
We'll see what happens. It appears we'll just see what happens. YOLO. Count me off.
Good. Stay
I'm
ready.
manifesting.
Get ready.
What'd you say? Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I got it. I got my timer queued up this time. So when you're ready, let me know and I'll hit start.
Okay, I'm going to start right now. So we continue with the coronation of the new Grand Dame of Potomac, Nneka. Horrible, embarrassing. They even pronounce her name wrong. Next, we have night golf, okay? Things are lighting up. Meanwhile, Gizelle is in the corner embarrassing herself, talking about her quote-unquote ship with Jason. Then we have dinner where Mia is shady towards Karen with the cheating allegations. Who knows what's happening there? Grace, we talk about her going off to Florida for college. Then we have at the beach club, Ashley's a singer now that she has a confidence coach. And that's it. Is that ever?
Much was left out. You have 18 seconds more.
Oh, wow! 18 seconds!
You cut out
I was really good. Because there's a lot to be said, Well, actually, now
say it.
Okay, so
wait, you did it so well. You could have really made it. You had 20 seconds left and time. And the thing that happens next is not the Ashley singing, girl. You skipped the whole morning at the villa. You skipped the game.
I really did start off well. I could have fit that in.
Yes,
it
was great.
I need to have my own timer going so that I can see that at the same time. Because I was just guessing.
You need to have notes on the actual events of the episode. Okay?
That would also be helpful. Okay. That would also be quite helpful. So
Well, fill us in on the rest so we can move on.
Okay, so before the beach club, well, no, let me just go in the beach club, then I'm going to circle back. The beach club, Ashley has revealed that she's seeing a confidence coach. That would be very interesting for viewers to watch, though we're just hearing about this for the first time. The ladies are not hearing about it for the first time. Candace was like, asking follow-ups about it. We
And
also
perhaps, oh, sorry.
big thing, we'll get to it.
Yeah.
But big thing we learned, probably biggest, is that Mia has quite the inheritance, okay?
Yeah, aka what Candace called her, stripper heiress.
Stripper heiress.
Stripper heiress. Who effing knew? This really goes against. She could not reveal that she was a stripper heiress first season when she was coming at her mom. That would have been incongruous. But now
No,
we've forgotten.
we see now stripping was a passion project. She was busting it wide open for lobster steak for the love. For the love of
For
it.
the love, okay? Because
Yes.
apparently Gordon is not and never was that rich.
Wait.
It's important to note who is there asking follow-up questions, but Keiarna, and she is sprinkled throughout this episode. She is no longer actively sick. This episode is, Keiarna's revenge, perhaps. She is she is ready and able to fight for Gizelle.
Oh my goodness.
Before the beach club, though, we have the morning, the ladies getting ready, and what actually what am I missing there? I don't have
They
a note
played
on this.
Answer the Damn Question after breakfast.
Oh, so then we get into all of their sex lives, the third brown eye. What
Still a mystery. That's my biggest mystery from that scene. Which one is what?
Oh my gosh. Ashley really comes alive in these moments. And
But can we not also forget in the game, we learned that Juan's unarticulated fantasy, or the
Oh my God. Well, we have to talk about that. We have to talk about that.
Save it. Save it.
Is to watch Robin with another man.
Save it. Save it. Save it, Kristen. Save it.
We also learned that Karen has a ton of wet dreams.
30 in 5 years.
Yeah, so it was great time had by all. We learned that Nneka would marry G or Juan. Okay. And now let's get into this episode for real. Let's start.
You forgot to mention the conflict that closes the episode.
Faces.
Oh. So when they oh yes, okay. So they're on the beach. Okay. Also, this happens this episode is they have this photo shoot. I actually appreciated. Did you look at some of the captions they had on those magazine covers? Robin's was hilarious. The year of ID gaff. Okay, that was strong. But Robin starts talking shit about Candace and Wendy for making faces when Gizelle is speaking about Grace and her journey to college at the dinner the previous night. So Robin says this to Mia, Gizelle. Is Keiarna there at the beginning?
No, she walks over as well.
Okay, so and then Gizelle is really like, yeah, I noticed that, da-da-da-da-da. And they start having their little powwow. Wendy goes, wait a second, what are y'all talking about? And that leads us into next episode.
We actually have a preview of the end of that conversation. Check it out on our TikTok page. Because we should save it for next week, right?
That's true. We should save that whole thing. But it looks like, I hope that we really get that battle fleshed out and that the rest of the episode is actually robust content as well. And that we didn't just see everything in the clip.
It looks like the rest of the next episode is a bunch of conflicts because it looks like Keiarna and Nneka has a conflict. It looks like Gizelle and Karen have a conflict. And then the conflict wraps up from the end of this episode.
And Candace and Robin might also have one.
I would look forward to that. I want to see more about where their relationship is going.
Well,
Cool. So should we get into the continuation of the coronation or what?
Yes, we shall.
Okay, just one thing I noted, and remember last week when I invoked the illustrious Zakia Iman Jackson, who has a phenomenal book called Becoming Human, because she has this concept about how the slave master is the one who preserves the power to deem or not deem, or to deem the enslaved either man or object, man or violable thing, whatever, to one of his male slaves. And this Zakia Iman Jackson's analysis of the novel Beloved. And I said Gizelle is doing a similar thing with this. I gave Karen the title, I'll take it away, and I'm going to give it to Nneka. And then what did she say to start the episode off? We're going to officially allow you to give a speech. We are going to officially allow you to give a speech. Okay, the substance of that too. It's like, by the way, just track the way Gizelle talks, like in general, because that's what I do. I listen to the things Gizelle says, and what she gives us a rich understanding of her position in the context of this whole production. And I say the production because it's not just among the cast, it's among the production as well. Not to mention she was on Watch What Happens Live this week, and Andy was like, "Do you want to meet Ben? Oh, she's meeting your son. Who else gets to meet your son? Okay. Gizelle said we're going to officially allow you to give a speech because she knows she's the officials. She is the officials.
The we is the production team, Bravo TV, Andy Cohen. We will allow you.
And Nneka's thirsty ass. Oh my God, you are. Thank you so much. Thank you for seeing and believing in me.
I have an exact quote from Nneka here. Beyond and above my years. This is beyond and above my years. I'm here to do the people's work, and I'm okay with that. Exactly.
That part.
And I'm okay with that.
That part. Okay. That part. That accidental admission.
Yes.
Combined with last episode's admission in the Wendy sit down, it's like, oh, Nneka, you're spilling the beans, girl. I don't know if you're cool with that.
Spilling the MFing
The way that she ends that quote with, and I'm okay with it. You know, like it has been put upon you, and you know what? I receive it, and I will carry forward your mission.
I will be your walking implement. Yes, whatever you care to take me up as you will, misname me. I will be there.
Oh my God.
Misname me, Nneka.
Oh my God. Yeah, let's start calling her Toby in that case, because like she said, no, is it not? Or is it giving the scene from Roots where Kunta is being beat into submission because the master insists that he absorb his new name, Toby? Yeah. She calls her Nneka twice. Then Robin calls her Nneka again, right after.
She's been crowned Nneka.
And her reflection is, I've been called to do the people's work. It's like, actually, dummy, you got it wrong, because the people peep game. If Twitter is any indication, the people peep game, you're only doing Giselle's work. You're not doing the people's work. You tried it, brother. Get out of here. I'm sick of her. I'm actually just, it's not that I'm sick of her. I want her gone, but I'm also very triggered. This is a level of pathetic I cannot abide. It's painful for me to see it happen. Like, I don't understand it.
It's painful also because it's like clearly painful for her in her body in a way that she's not in her movement or her thinking or her speaking. It's like, Nneka, you don't see the way you're sad and downward in the face. You don't see the way you're hunched and small. You don't feel good about the way you're moving and being allowed to enabling yourself to be taken up, but you're doing it.
And I was thinking about what you said last week, because you were like, Nneka actually has a good body. And I was like, she does? And I was so confused. And then today I was like, oh yeah, technically she's stacked, right? Like she's hourglassed, but she carries herself in such a way, it's wildly unattractive. Like, it's like, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't want her on the screen.
She's like a praying mantis posture type situation.
Yeah, she folds over. She's folded. She's an envelope, you know?
Yes.
Remember her face when she and Wendy sat down? She was like,
Oh, and that was sad. I don't want to see it. I do not want to see it.
Yeah, please get her out of here, y'all. Like, the hell?
I think it's important to note also during the coronation, Candace walked away. She walked away. She knew it was corny and annoying and disrespectful.
But you know what I knew all along?
Uh,
She left something in the room. I swear to God, I know I didn't say this.
I thought it was revealed.
It was revealed.
What was it?
Like the minute I saw it, I said, Candace probably left something in the room. But this is a good moment to stake her, protest of the whole process. She said she needed her necklace. I forgot my necklace in the room.
Looking like she was heading to the Masters. In fact, they do post coronation go take little golf carts to night golf, and Katherine really wants to go. I am interested only in what comes out during night golf when Mia checks in with Gizelle about the status of the relationship with Jason. And Ashley are asking like, oh, it's been 6 months now. Gizelle importantly said, or Mia asked if Jason were to, like, for instance, be in pictures with other women on the internet, would Gizelle be okay with that? Gizelle famously says, or importantly says, it wouldn't happen. We've had a conversation about that. It wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. However, this
extra.
Read all about it, because on Twitter this week, we see that very thing. A picture circulating with Jason and a white woman, a couple of them. And then Gizelle goes on Watch What Happens Live after the show to do damage control and says,
oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, go on. Tell us.
And she asked about it and she said, well, Jason is free to be in pictures with whoever he wants to, just like I am. Jason is free to be with people, any people he wants to, just like I am. I know I am. I'm just like, oh, Gizelle, that's so funny, because the episode we literally just watched before Watch What Happens Live, you said it wouldn't happen. And that y'all spoke about that. Y'all had a conversation about that. Girl, you look dumb. And guess what? We're not dumb. It's you who's dumb.
It's you who's dumb. It's you who's dumb. And, it's like, I mean, one could say, oh, the status of their relationship changed between then and there, but the person who brought forward the photos of Jason has timestamps, receipts, okay? Jason has been in these streets with someone else, and he was at the time of her saying it would be inappropriate.
That's why Gizelle should have said, clearly it was never a real relationship, so it shouldn't matter if they break up. She should have said on Watch What Happens Live, we broke up, and it was because of behavior like this, Even if you were announcing,
she would never, because that makes her sound like she's getting played, and Gizelle will never abide being played. Which is why she set herself up for humiliation when she started redating her pastor ex-husband, and Monique brought the binder. Oh my binder! That clip is also circulating online, and it's Monique reading the number. Is it 917? And they bleep it, and you go, oh.
And then she goes, it is.
She affirmed it.
Yeah, she was like, that's his number. And she she likes to look off into space like she's unaffected. She's like, it is.
The unaffected look is the saddest look she gives.
She sits up on that couch next to Andy like she is the first lady of the reunion. She does.
It's funny that you see it as sad, because I think most people are gonna see it for what it's meaning to convey, which is a cold disaffection. Like, it doesn't look sad to me, even though I should be able to identify, right? Like, it doesn't look sad to me. It looks like impenetrable. What's up? Like, sure, her brow does furrow. There's a little frown does form, but she won't give the look of vulnerability. It's like, you have to know that's her version of a look of vulnerability.
Yes. When I see that, I'm like, she is so sad. She doesn't know what to do.
And I think now, having seen that look compounded over so many seasons, like in the instance of the binder, in the instance of the false accusations about Chris, in the instance of the privilege conversation, it's like, Gizelle, that's your go-to little disposition, is to act like you don't care. And it don't add up, girl. Like, listen, look at all these discourses are being brought to bear, and you're just going to be like hardened and cold. Like, no, but they make sense. They're reading. You have to engage.
Yeah.
And frankly, Giselle, like if you were gonna get somebody to play at relationship with, why did you choose a man who clearly only really fucks with white women? Like, is it because you think you pass as a white woman? Like, you're not. Like, I know that she has light skin and light eyes, but Giselle does not pass as white. She doesn't give white in the persona. He wasn't going to check for it. Sorry. Like,
He or
or he
she
couldn't sustain the attention is
sh- he should have been closer to her age. If like you can't go from this Sherman, to
yeah,
him.
yeah.
It just not no.
Well,
No.
because she thought she could control him at his age, and it's like he's on
Mm,
Winter House. Like, enough said.
mm.
Weirdo. Weirdo.
Well, the last thing that happens at night golf is that what we left off on at the end of the last episode, which is to let's peep game about where this interaction Gizelle has when she comes to check in on Keiarna goes. We see Keiarna, boop, she bites, she takes the bait because she expresses, I feel a kind of way that my own friends didn't come check in on me, she says during the confessionals at night golf.
Oh
I'm gonna
yeah.
see that take off.
Yes, because and the reason why she says that is because Candace follows up. Maybe Karen says it's good to see you looking better, and Candace is like, "How are you feeling?" In other words, like the expression of concern comes, if belatedly, from them, which then
Mhm.
begs the question: why raise it again at dinner?
Why?
It
Why?
got addressed.
It's the
You
first
know,
night. Like you might think it's the first night. So you're in pain, sick, going through it when y'all arrive. There's, y'all spend some time, I imagine, downtime, decompressing. And now look, we're back together that same night. I'm not gonna like come press you. Like I'm asking you now. It's the same day.
And I mean, for me, like it's a legitimate concern, right? But the context she needs to consider is your friends might seem like they're on vacation, but they're actually at work.
Mm.
And so all the stresses of being on that job are bearing on them. And that might be why you see Candace and Wendy go off together, because they have processing to do that they're not going to do openly. Those are not their friends, those are their enemies. So it's like, it's unfortunate that she didn't get the expression of concern when she was at the height of her illness. And as a friend, I might expect it as well. I don't begrudge her for feeling like, hey, like I felt like I missed out on the care I would have expected out of my friends. The issue is like when they express the concern belatedly. If you had a problem with the time frame, say it there.
Mhm.
all right, let me say this. This is why we know Keiarna is a 2. Okay. She's feeling like she needs to be attended to. She should not be being ignored. When that happens, she somaticizes these feelings. And then the reaction confirms how she's already feeling. Nobody loves me. Nobody.
Mhm.
So this, I
Yeah, not
think,
to mention she looks like a cutesy baby, right? She's like has wide eyes.
Doesn't.
Hello, especially in that little confessional look. Like there's like it's like a baby's little right, just with
mhm.
hoochie.
Yes.
Production plus baby.
It's
Hello.
giving like Hoochie Newsboy with a bow.
Yes, like
Hoochie
she could be
newborn.
friends with like Annie or something.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, and then it's like when she's upset, feels neglected, she lashes out. 2's go to 8. That's
Yeah, but I will say, just before we move on to dinner, I want to note Mia did not. This is back to Giselle and Jason. Mia did not disclose what she clearly knows. She
Yes.
only sprinkled it. She only raised it. Why? Because she's scared.
You
Scared to
think?
go against Mama Giselle? Yes, she is. She may not be scared to call out Robin for her bullshit. She may not be scared to press her a little bit, but she is
um
scared to directly challenge Giselle.
It's
And of course,
crazy.
there's the Nneka right there, like, because obviously he loves you. So that's good. Like, it's good that you have a man who loves you and he'll probably want to marry you really soon. Would you like that? No, like, no,
yeah,
I'm good where we're at.
I
But
think
Mia
also
actually calls it exactly as it happens. Like she knew that there are pictures because the pictures came out. It's like, oh, that was a little bit. That question was too specific. Like, and if he were pictures with other women on the internet, it's like, oh, did you see something?
Literally, on the internet. Come on. Come on.
I think it was extremely embarrassing for Giselle. Calling it a ship, it's a ship, not a relationship. It was just like no more badgering needed to happen because
Mhm. Yeah.
She was already exposed.
Also, the news had hit moments before the show aired, so
Yeah.
we get it.
All right. So after night golf, we go to dinner. Okay. This actually we had multiple things happen at dinner. Okay. First we have how does it start? How does the wait, does it start with the Grace saga or does it start with Mia and
Starts with
Karen?
Grace.
It starts with
Oh,
Grace. Yeah, it does
okay.
start with Grace.
They get to the restaurant. I clocked that Wendy is gracious and says like, "Wow, Robin, this is really nice." Like says a compliment to the host about the location of the meal, and then I don't know who prompts her, but I think Mia
Karen, maybe.
was it Karen. Okay, Karen must prompt Gizelle generally about Mia. I mean about Grace.
About Grace, because she says something. She invokes the advice she gave to Gizelle
Gizelle
about
starts it
Grace.
off. Just
Yes,
saying
and I
thank
think
you.
this is an important moment because we talked about this episodes ago. Like Giselle's apparent bad behavior in the face of Grace going off to college. Like we were noting that, especially when she took her to self-defense, like Giselle's probably insufferable right now. And you can see Grace is wearing it on her expressions like, mother, enough. So Karen advised her at some point recently, probably at the actual graduation ceremony. So in other words, at the end of this season of bad behavior for Gizelle, she says, my mother-in-law pointed out to me when Brandon was graduating. Brandon is Karen's eldest son, of course. Hey, you're missing his moment. In your grief that he's leaving, you're missing his moment. Now, that was the fucking most useful piece of something Karen could have said to Gizelle for Grace's sake, because I don't believe it's coming from the same. Karen, we saw when Raven was graduating, that was filmed in the first or second season. Karen is like, she's lashing out at Ray. She's super stressed. She's crying constantly. And there's like the grief at the loss of her best friend. And you can see what kind of like parent Karen is. You get it, right? Like, and I get it from Giselle's standpoint because I think she regards Grace as kind of her best friend, not the other two, unfortunately, but Grace specifically. But Giselle's manner of handling stress is much different than Karen. She's not going to wear it as sadness. She's probably going to wear it as like megalomania. She's probably going to wear it as like, Grace, you're not going anywhere. Like, So thank God Karen advised her because Gizelle seems to have taken it to heart. Her report is like, I appreciated that advice. It was meaningful to me. Like, hopefully it was a real moment of recognition where she's like, I've been terrible. Like, this should be about Grace and her, accomplishment, a new beginning, a new chapter. And I, for fear of losing my BFF, have been punishing her and everyone around me.
Well, then. Nothing, no notes.
Fair.
Y'all take that to the bank and run with it. So the follow-up is from Mia, who asks Gizelle if she has like concern.
Wait, first she reports to the table Grace graduated, and Candace says, "Congrats to Grace."
Yes.
Okay, so
which
those
gets
are
ignored.
The two opening moments of graciousness that I clock, of course, is like Candace saying, "Oh, congratulations," and immediately looking down because she knows it will fall on deaf ears, but she takes care to note it because she don't got beef with Grace. She has beef with Gizelle. And then Mia then asks Gizelle if she has any concerns or misgivings about sending Grace to school in Florida. Gizelle announces that she's going to school in Florida to an HBCU. And Mia asks her this question about, like, the state of Florida, so much racism and anti-Blackness is afoot there with respect to the governor and such. How do you feel? And Gizelle takes the question and earnestly and is like, yeah, there's a lot going on down there. I'm scared, I'm nervous, but I feel like I've equipped Grace with, the means and confidence to handle everything. And I believe after that, Ashley asked a resonant question about like the state of Florida. And then we see Wendy pipe up with her remark.
Even before Wendy pipes up, production has been doing a lot in this.
Tell us. Yes.
Okay, so it's like as this is happening, they're having an earnest conversation, responding to things they're seeing on the news, clearly, okay? And while this is going on, production is zooming in and out of Candace and Wendy's faces. And not only was it the zooms for me, but they played this music to it. Okay. They had music playing. And then they would cut to Gizelle and the music would stop. And so it's like
and the music is dun dun, like suspicious piano music, right?
Yes. It's their like suspicious, that type of.
And
So it makes it seem like, look, 3 women are trying to have a real conversation about concerns that they have as Black mothers. And then 2 clowns on the side are like, because the faces they're making are like trying not to laugh faces.
It's not okay, but can we talk about the faces? Because I feel like the faces are just like emphasis faces to each other that are like.
I think they varied. There were some emphasis faces. There were some response faces to the face of the other that were trying not to laugh faces, I thought. There were this is awkward faces.
Yeah.
I think they were mostly in the form of smiles. Frankly, I think like the mouth was always like, like so in other words, as opposed to a snarl, like a stank face. That's not what we saw.
No,
we didn't see no stank face. We didn't see any rolled eyes. We saw smiles, like knowing exchanges, right? Like
knowing looks. Yep.
Yes. Knowing looks between 2 friends. That's what it was.
Suffer similarly in this unfortunate dynamic of a show.
Yep.
Yeah. And who are sitting at the edge of a table and that represents the larger dynamic. Yes, they were sitting together off to the side, not because they wanted to talk shit about everyone, but because it is an inhospitable environment. And then after that extended dramatization by production.
And that's what it was, a dramatization.
Yes, that's right.
A reality that we have no access to because they won't show us the truth.
Yes.
Exactly.
I bet every single person on this show has a life that I would be actually interested in watching. But the way the production plays, I'm like, okay, this one, she can go, But anyways, Wendy speaks up and is essentially saying, a lot is going on in Florida. Like, what is she? Before she says, I would not.
Black and brown people are being killed essentially with impunity, and the defense of it is stand your ground.
Yes, and I would not send my Black sons to school in Florida.
Right.
Gizelle then responds a little, I don't think overly defensively. She responds like, okay, touche, but Grace has the Lord on her side and I'm praying for her. And,
and there's racism everywhere throughout the country.
Yes. Hello. We're from, Maryland. So
yeah. And she experiences it down the street. And though I do not like to endorse anything Gizelle ever says, because she's nasty, this is a moment of meaningful analysis because, like we should talk about, the thrust of Wendy's comment. For the record, I don't agree with what Wendy said. I found it to be misguided for a woman who deals precisely in these matters in an academic context. Okay. So Dr. Ellen, all right. She disagrees. And I think Gizelle's point, and in general, like we can circulate articles about this. In general, the scapegoating of Florida as the source and home of racism is deeply misguided. Okay. Because Florida might be an emblem of a particular form of racism, in our contemporary moment, but it is not exceptional. And as a teacher of mine always used to say, invoking her grandfather, she's from the South, like some of us prefer our racism straight up. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest. Does that mean I intend to make Florida my home? I don't, but I'm not doing that because, oh, the racism there is so unabated. I won't be able to bear it. So let me run for cover in progressive New York. No, 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 no. Okay,
And
the
then,
racism here happens under a different name. Let
and
us be clear.
And it's important that Gizelle emphasizes too that she's going to school at an HBCU in Florida. So it's like also to help Grace gird herself against the nasty nakedness of the particular kind of racist expressions that go on
Exactly.
there. She will have a Black community that will not enable her to be gaslit
Right.
or denied her reality about what is happening. So it's like, Wendy, like your sense that what being at Johns Hopkins or something makes you and your kids living in the kind of boondocks of Maryland kind of some progressive or better or liberal kind of distance from that is not true.
It's not.
You should know that if you're talking about how Black people are getting killed all over the place on your show. So why would you single out Florida?
She does know that. It's like this liberal defense strategy, which is really delusion and denial, that says like some of us are civilized up here in the northern states or the metropolitan area. Like you are not girding against racism by living in a state that votes blue, okay, very consistently. You're just not. It like
and people in Maryland,
you're getting mystified more by the progressive
exactly.
whites who would say that what they're up to is better for you, but still want you dead, just like
right, because you all live in the shadow of the place that enables the governor of Florida to pass these policies. Hello, it's the capital. It's the place where the racism goes to thrive and proliferate.
And legitimate itself. You're in its backyard.
And legitimate itself.
But people in Maryland, it is very common. It is a common talking point that they would never live in Virginia. They would never live in the South, even though they're below the Mason Dixon by themselves. People. I've heard this from many white Marylanders growing up, and she's regurgitating that.
Yeah.
line.
No, Black Marylanders say it too.
Yes.
They do, unfortunately. Yeah.
And
New Yorkers say it too with their delusions. Okay. It's a joke. It's a joke.
But yeah, she sounds like the liberal white commentators on MSNBC. She's parroting,
They obviously have hailed her to say these things, and now she's internalized.
Yes.
Exactly. And I think the point is well taken, Kristen, about the fact that Grace is attending an HBCU, because you know that HBCU is also going to be lit with resistance against, the encroachments of the like racist police state under which they suffer. So that's the best kind of circumstance for her to, be coming of age. Like shout out to her.
And it's like steeping her in a kind of social milieu that she'll always then look for, presumably. Not going to be satisfied to go live up in Massachusetts because you went to this Black place and no, this is where the truth is being spoken. Even if Grace was groomed by a woman who has striverly sensibilities and nasty investments, it's like there's a level of truth that you're comfortable with by virtue of living among and around Black people.
Her psychological well-being, I'm sure, is much safer at her HBCU in Florida than in Montgomery County, Maryland. Like just facts. Okay.
And unfortunately, the people who are reporting live from Grace's socials have made clear that like how it's going is not like that. It's not like the potential we are citing here.
Yes.
Being a student at HBCU. But there is 4 more years still. There is time for her to turn it around.
It only takes one book, one class,
Yes, exactly. And then how, she found the only white girl at the school. She gonna leave her behind.
To this point,
the Black student movement.
To this point, this is how it's starting. It's gonna go better. It's gonna go better.
It's starting like this because this was already how she was indoctrinated.
This is the expression of Maryland at that age.
Yes.
People gonna be. She got 3 more years of people being like, "Girl, don't you know there's 30 shades of Fenty that match better?"
There you go.
All right, so we have not even gotten to the second half of this dinner. Somehow Karen wraps that whole convo up in a bow.
Yes.
Puts a bow on a piece of
Which
shit.
is much appreciated, right?
I do not well, okay, yes, that she's like but what she ends up saying is like, and in this group, we all look out for each other. And, you know, we can have conversations like this in community and despite whatever. And so you'll see, Nneka, like, this is why we all, you know, and it's
what
like,
I like about it is it's trying to clean up Wendy's ignorant comment. I appreciate that. She's like, what? Not by clean, and I shouldn't say clean it up. She's trying to read the best of intentions in it. Okay, and that's Wendy needs more of that because the racist trolls of the internet who are leading the charge in a digital lynching of her need to sit the fuck down. Shout out to Karen for that. And it also very nicely reminds Nneka that her spot there is not secure. Hey, new girl.
it was based on she could have done. I do think those were the merits of what she said, what you just said just then. But I don't think that she should have just had this bold-faced lie like we haven't been watching for 8 years.
Yeah,
okay,
that's fair.
it was funny. It was a comedic moment. Like if she had a fourth wall moment where she turned to the camera and like smirked, I would have liked that. But it sounded like she was trying to make us believe she believed it herself.
And despite her efforts, by the way, because that was a gesture for Gizelle, like, hey, we all care about you. What does Gizelle turn around and do? Yeah, that's true. But while we're on the subject, Karen, you're the one who at Nneka's house, and then here go Nneka.
No, stop.
Won't you just call me Nina? It'll be easier.
Why don't you just call me Toby? She said. Okay?
Call me Toby.
Not Kunta, but Toby, please. Dear God.
So then finish it off. How does she parlay that into the
She says, at Nneka's house, you were outing Mia for sleeping with YG. Something like that. And what she fails to account for is that Mia once again raised the accusations about Karen and her marriage as the context for Karen bringing up the rappers. And she never named the rappers. Who named the rappers? I think it was Ashley. Somebody said, is it YG? And you think Karen know those guys? You think Karen know Lil Uzi Vert and YG? She does not. Okay. It wasn't Karen that named them. She named the fact of rappers. Somebody else explicitly named the rappers, and Mia was like, no, chill. I'm not sleeping with them.
Oh my God. And then Mia such a like, sometimes, we gave Mia a lot of credit this season so far for when she's been funny or on point or called someone out, but she has just gone back to those rivers and lakes that she's used to this episode because she does this deflecting nonsense of like, oh, well, that's because I know the truth. Oh, you want to try it? I'll put it out there. Like,
and then has the nerve to call Karen manipulative for saying, like, do I not bleed? What is she calling her manipulative for? I'm actually confused about it because it's like, what would you call this vague threat you're dangling over her?
It's manipulative because Karen was like, I brought you on the show. And it's like,
yes.
That's like,
what right. And it's like, okay, and what would you call saying, well, I know your shit. I'm not going to say it though. Okay, you don't know any of, go ahead, say it then. Because if you want to start spreading rumors, no, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. You're threatening her.
Yep.
Yes, not even a veiled threat. What I will say is I really appreciated Wendy's commentary on this moment. It was a grounding moment to remind us that we do know that Mia is a pathological liar.
Pathological liar.
Like that's just
definition.
Yes, that's a fact about Mia.
And we saw that more later in the episode.
Yeah, and we saw it like every episode loudly in her previous seasons, but she's been funny, cutesy, whatever, and you forget, like, no, this is a pathology.
She lies and gets herself into situations where it's like, girl, how are you gonna get this one? How are you gonna get out of this one? How are you gonna make it make sense?
Okay, but now we can get to Keiarna's contribution to the dinner.
Yeah.
Yes, say.
Oh, me? Well, she raises, and Gizelle, I want to thank you for coming to check on me earlier when I wasn't feeling well. I would have thought my friends, Candace and Wendy, would have done it. Looks at their end of the table.
Okay.
And disbelief. She's like, Girl, I didn't know you was feeling away about. Wendy tells us she brought Keiarna a ginger ale.
Mm-hmm.
Can we also just process this at night golf? So
Yeah,
why bring it to the table now?
which is Wendy's love language, right? Because it's like maybe Keiarna's is words of affirmation and Wendy's is acts of service. Because Wendy brought you ginger ale to suggest I am concerned about your condition and trying to help you heal it. And it's like Gizelle walks in the room, how you feeling? You good? And you're acting like Wendy didn't do anything. Did that happen right after? Like, what's going on? What? And again, Candace asked you words of affirmation at golf. Exactly. So why didn't you raise it with her there that it was belated?
It feels like she is bidding for her place on the show by being like, all right, in the tradition of bringing shit up at a dinner and airing out laundry, let me put on the table my one grievance. Girl, that's not nice because there's no problem.
And like, I'm very triggered. Despite being an 8, I'm very triggered by invocations of loyalty. Like, I don't like when people say loyalty because I'm just like, what are we, the subjects of some king? Like, whatever. But the truth is, I know.
Word?
I'm about to say I'm about to say the word. But the truth is, like, even though I don't like the term loyalty, it was probably just some sort of disavow because it's important to me. This is very disloyal. Like, and by which I just mean it's, you want to talk about being a good friend. You're not being a good friend because you know precisely what Gizelle's designs are. Of course you do. You know exactly the way the shit has been going. Raise it with them in private. Your friends deserve the respect of being pulled to the side and held accountable, not this kind of performative thing in front of all of their enemies.
Oh, that's actually true. I'm actually glad you said that because it's like there's no way if you're friends with Wendy and Candace that you don't know Gizelle's nastiness.
Yeah.
Even just watching the show, but if y'all are friends, you're hearing about this from them and their suffering of her in real time. Why are you hyping her up?
She was at the joint rolling event, whether or not they said it directly to her, which is hard to believe nobody addressed it with her. When Candace met her, the like issues with Ashley were laid bare. Okay. And Wendy proceeded to, well, Wendy gave a little diluted account of how that housewarming party went. But again, at the Happy Eddie's launch event, she saw Gizelle. She was right there as Gizelle kept making these disparaging comments.
Well, this is a thing. I do totally agree it's disloyal. Kristen reminded us before we began filming, that Candace and Keiarna just met at that bar scene earlier this season. I'm wondering how close Keiarna and Candace really are, especially because sometimes I'm surprised. I think Wendy and Candace are closer than they are. I don't know if you two feel that way, but if Wendy is the real friend here, she could be just giving these diluted accounts. And I mean, I don't think her account of Gizelle would be that diluted, but like a diluted account with Nneka, and like the recent going ons in the group. Not to say Keiarna was not wrong for bringing this up at the table, but you might not know the full, like,
or I just wonder to what extent Keiarna was friends with Wendy. Was she friends with Wendy in the way that Nneka was friends with Ashley, as in this was her agreed upon person to bring on? How deep was their like friendship bond? And then I also forgot about like when Gizelle came into the room last episode, she invoked knowing Keiarna through Cal. So was Keiarna also just trying to kind of like plot on how to keep the lines of affiliation open on a lot of different relationships so as not to alienate anyone too early?
Well, clearly not, because the people she chooses to hold accountable are the ones she names as her friends, right? And it's like, yeah, it is clearly a recent friendship with Candace. I will take you at your word that you regard them as friends more so than Gizelle. And if that's the case, then you owe them something. Loyalty. They owe you something too. And you can hold them accountable. But by loyalty, I don't mean blind fidelity to whatever it is they say. I mean the respect to pull them aside rather than try to humiliate them in front of their enemies. Because again, we do not need to question what she knows. She was at the Happy Eddie event where Gizelle walks in and doesn't speak to Wendy. And Wendy goes, she's just not going to talk to me at my event.
Okay,
She
I
was
forgot that
across
Wendy
from
named
Gizelle.
that then.
Yeah, she was
Yeah.
across from Gizelle when Gizelle said, I wasn't smiling this whole time.
Cut away to
No.
laughs 2
I
seconds.
do think just your earliest point stands. If this were real, nobody would abide by this performance by Keiarna at the dinner table. That would be
Yeah.
shocking if someone did
Yeah.
that, you know?
But Wendy responded very graciously, I think, right? When she said, we receive it. We receive it.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
Imagine, let's just do a thought experiment. Imagine Jacqueline doing that to Mia, how that would have went down. But anyways, okay.
That's my issue with Mia too. What she would do is say, well, that's why you slept with your cousin's best
Yes.
friend's husband.
Yep. That's actually she was giving me Mia talking to Jacqueline at the dinner, talking to Karen
Yes.
this moment. It's like,
Yes.
oh, that's that nasty Mia who forgot that she's contrite about what she did with Jacqueline when she was at the sexual assault event. Now you're back in full force.
Yep. Don't ever think Mia is a real friend to you because she is holding your shit in a vault to dangle it over. That is definition of a non-friend. Okay.
Yes. She's incapable.
that
Just
shit in
as
the
soon as
vault.
you meet her, you already know.
Yeah.
You know.
Literally. I mean, Ashley too, right?
Ashley too. Yep.
Both said it.
They recognize each other.
2 peas in a pod.